Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And in this video, I have another network update for you guys from AT&T. But before I get that update out, I wanted to speak on Firstnet briefly. I know I didn't cover it in the videos yesterday, and AT&T didn't really discuss it or bring any light to it during the earnings call. If they did, it was very brief. I likely missed that part of the earnings call. But they're growing. They're still growing the first responders public sector. So if you consider that another section of growth for them, let me know in the comment section. But they're growing that as well. So they're growing across the board. Every single business segment is growing other than media, but they're not reporting that anymore because it's listed as sale. So they did lose about 620,000 customers on media, but the traditional TV segment is dying out, and that's why they spun it off. They got rid of it. So everything is growing for the main core business. So the agencies adopted, more than 16,000 agencies adopted FirstNet, with that equaling more than 2.2 million connections. So this is big. This is big. This justifies the investment. It justifies the reimbursement subsidies from the government. So again, the network is expanding for AT&T. It's expanding at a native pace unlike ever seen before. They are no longer going to try to depend on any roaming starting next year. So sites have to be built to expand coverage or services where they don't have it. So in areas that AT&T may have roamed on US Cellular or US Comnet or whichever other services regional that AT&T may have roamed on, be expecting them to expand their coverage there massively. Not one tower, not two towers. Be looking forward for them to add multiple sites to really bring their native coverage to your respective area or the area where they previously didn't have any native service. They're really serious about that. So that's, again, as long as the subsidy is still there, the reimbursement, I think this year it's going to be like 1.2 billion that they get reimbursed. Their network is going to expand at a pace unlike ever seen before from any carrier. That means they tighten that grid. Even on coverage, they likely tighten that grid more. Perhaps they do a site every 5 miles instead of every 15. So they're starting to plug in sites in between. And that'll help them as well with the C-band deployment. So as they enhance the network, as they expand the network, they're adding all their spectrum onto these sites. That's what's giving them the current speed advantage in rural America. They're adding 2, 66, 5, 14, 12, 30, 29. I mean, they're adding all their spectral assets onto these sites. And there's still headroom to grow. As I mentioned previously, they're doing this all really with their LTE network. That's the backbone. And they're saying they only have 70% of their total assets deployed. So that means they have another 30% to go through to add into the network. So there's still headroom for them to grow in LTE. So that leads me to the network update. So earnings is out the way for Verizon and AT&T. T-Mobile's is set to be announced May 4th. So AT&T had a growth, is the growth story until T-Mobile reports. Then that may change. But AT&T is growing. They're growing business, consumer, HBO Max, fiber. They're growing. Now, on wireless, it's been their main bread and butter. That's how the company got to where it is today. It's wireless. It's really their bread and butter. I think they understand that. They're not very good at telling the public this vocally, but I think they internally understand that wireless has to continue to be invested in, likely more than any of the other business segments. Fiber and HBO Max are all upside because it's technically new. Fiber is expanding. 3 million households this year, 4 million next year, and the year after. If they can do more, they'll do more. And that's when I predict they get strong enough financially again. Not saying that they'll be broken up like they did back in the day, but they'll get strong enough again as a company financially to where they start knocking on doors, and they might ask CenturyLink, "Hey, we'll buy you out, and then we'll own your fiber." I could see that. I could see that happening, and that's a position that AT&T is heading towards. They're heading towards financial strength and free cash flow that every other carrier is chasing. They increased their cash flow 50% this quarter, year over year. That's insane. So that will translate into the wireless network getting stronger and stronger and stronger. As I mentioned yesterday in some of the videos, some of the podcasts, I've seen the C-band plans. It has to be, I would say, if I had to take a guess, it's likely as aggressive as Verizon's, if not more. And they're just not good at publicly being vocal about that. They've never been by nature vocal in that way. But my God, are they doing things behind closed doors? Oh my goodness. So there's very little HSPA left in the network. Very little. Only sites. So as they work through that this year and probably the beginning of next year, they will likely have to work through that too. They'll become, an all LTE network for now. They plan on shutting down the HSPA network in 2022. So if you are a AT&T customer with an older device, iPhone 5, 5S, maybe even 6 and 7s, if you receive a iPhone SE 2020 in the mail, it is not a scam. AT&T is sending these out to you, and they're letting you know on the message that's in the box, this device is free. We are shutting down parts of our older network. We would like you on a newer device. Just send me back your old device. That's how aggressive AT&T is doing this now. And some people have reported this as a scam, but it's not. I mean, I wish they would have gone about it maybe a little differently, maybe giving them a heads up instead of just sending them a phone to the house. But hey, whatever works for you, right? So if you are one of those customers, you receive a packet with an iPhone SE 2020 and it's asking you to send your old device back, you have likely fallen into that category of having an older device that needs to be upgraded. And AT&T is giving you a free phone to do so. They want people off that older network. They want the percentages to increase. I personally think this would have been a perfect time to send people 5G devices. But again, that's probably a higher cost that they would have to subsidize. So the iPhone SE 2020 is still a great device. I think it comes with some of the newer technology in terms of the network side, and I think it works. I think this plays out well for AT&T, and then they have to, continue working their current base that's already on a newer device. They have to get them into even newer devices, C-band, millimeter wave, maybe low band 5G. So yeah, they have to work the base. I think they're doing a very good job, especially as they announced the promotion for new and existing customers. It's bringing people in. I think their plans are structured perfectly. As the ad version of HBO Max goes on to prepaid and the lower end unlimited plans, I think it even gains them more traction. So they did almost 300,000 prepaid ads. I predict that to remain the same, if not go up, with this ad version of HBO Max. Wireless consumer postpaid numbers are looking good. I only see that increasing as Verizon remains in a stubborn position in terms of getting everybody into unlimited premium. I was in a store recently. Some of the promos that they're offering can't even be activated unless the customer gets into the premium plan. or if you get in a lower end unlimited plan, the promos are watered down. You don't get the full amount, or you don't get the same device. So their strategy is, again, I will say it once again, their go-to-market strategy is going to backfire. They're going to have to make a correction. I will continue saying this. Their stock was down almost 2% yesterday, and I'm sure it's going to keep going down. They have to make a correction. If not, they will continue losing customers. Their revenue will go up. They will continue losing customers at same or higher rates than they did this quarter. And they will be forced to make a correction, and then they'll have to spend even more money to get those customers back in the future in terms of acquiring a new customer. So again, let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. Video was a little longer than I wanted, but I just wanted to get that all out there to let you guys know. HSPA is shutting down. There's roughly around 130, 140 sites left to touch that are roughly that need to be fully upgraded and modernized. So that's not a lot. They'll get through that this year and early next year. So phones are being sent out, and that's what people are experiencing. So it's not a scam. I wish they would have given you a heads up, but that's how they're going about it. So we'll see how that works out. So if you have been on the channel, or you're new to the channel, you have not yet liked, share, subscribed, make sure you do so. Hit the notification bell so you are notified when I do upload content. Make sure to follow the social media outlets for more updates and interactions. Thanks again for watching. This is Tyrone with Tech Life. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.